Sexting is the act of sending sexually explicit messages and photographs primarily between mobile phones. And in 2012, the word sexting was included in Merriam-Webster dictionary, so it is here to stay. And this is how it looks. So Mr. Fiora showed this video again that they've had produced where so you see a girl sitting on her bed with her, writing on her knees, kind of all propped up, and her boyfriend says, it goes ding, and she picks up her phone, and it says, "I really miss you. I want to see a picture of you. Take your top off and send me a picture." And so then the screen freezes, and it says, "What should she do? What should she do?" Say no. No. Right? And so it gives you a choice. Can you say no? Then if you say no, what happens? Nothing happens. Nothing happens, right? But if you say yes, and she does it, and then she texts it to him, then it shows, so then it goes to that one, and it shows him in baseball practice. And he's sitting on the stands, right? He's sitting on the bench, and he goes, "Oh my gosh!" And he shows it to his friend, and his friend says, "Send that to me, send that to me," right? And so then on the screen it says, should he do it? No. But does he? Yes, of course he does. And so I send it to my friend, and he sends it to his friend. There's 4 people just on the bench with him. He's just sent it to. So within 20 minutes, it is all over school. Everybody she knows. It's been posted up on Facebook, on her Facebook page, right? It can lead, it is multi-dimensional how far it can go out. And if it's true pornography worth watching, worth posting, it's on 7 continents in less than 4 seconds. Yeah. Okay. All right. So when that happens, what happens to those pedophiles who are on their computers? They're watching for that. And they're saying, this girl, if she's willing to send her boyfriend out this image, then I'm going to find out what game she plays. If she's willing to send this out to him, knowing what's out there, then I'm willing to find out where she is and get her to post more for me. Right? Absolutely. Fiora just was working on a case that they just blew wide open down in Gastonia. And they were actually looking at this guy, a pedophile, for a girl that he had engaged with physically, where he had stalked her and found her online and pursued her and groomed her and got her to convince to come and actually meet him, where he raped her and sent her off on her merry way. And so they were actually pursuing him for that, but they went in and confiscated his computer in the process of this whole investigation and found a lot of child pornography. And they kept getting this reference to this young girl who was in Asheville. And Jenny Cute 24 or somebody like that, right? And so after a while, they traced Jenny Cute 24 to a computer in Murphy. And so they go and they try and figuring out who Jenny Cute 24 is, and they go and there's this woman, a young woman in her early 20s there, and she says, "I don't know anybody named Jenny, and I'm sorry, this is not coming from my computer because I live here with my boyfriend. He's 25. His name is Matt, and I don't know anything about this Jenny." Well, so it turns out that what had happened was Matt, before he met his current girlfriend, who he'd been with for 3 years, had been dating someone in North Georgia who was way underage, like 12, and he was 15. right? And in the process of being with her, he took in person pictures of her and knew her, created a screen name personifying her, right? And now he's on his computer and he's sharing these images with this guy in Gastonia posing as Jenny Cute 24, and the guy in Gastonia is trying to get Jenny Cute 24 to come meet him, who's really Matt. So it's very complicated and convoluted, but the long and short of it is that both the young man and the older man are now going to serve prison sentences for child pornography, right? Now, to a 15-year-old, it doesn't seem like pornography. I'm in your room, you're willingly doing this, I'm not forcing you to do it, we're both in the same elementary school, they grew up together. I mean, it doesn't seem at the time that it's that bad, but it is. So, communication is super important. In 2008, a survey of 1,300 teenagers and young adults said that 20% of teens and 33% of young adults had sent nude or semi-nude photographs of themselves electronically. That's because nobody has had a conversation. They've never seen that video of what happens. And when you're watching it and you're looking at it, you're going, oh God. No, don't sit. Oh, too late, right? Right? The other part of the problem is that we, as parents or helping professionals, look at that and say, oh gosh, this is horrible. So think about a wallflower person who is bullied, who is marginalized, and now, all of a sudden, if I've sent out this one photograph and everybody wants to be my friend, it's a very different kind of thing. Right? So there's a lot of dynamics that happen in that process, and parents have to be able to be prepared to deal with either of. They're not going to always see it the same way we see it. Images are completely uncontrollable once they leave your possession. Images are completely uncontrollable once they leave your possessions. And not only are they completely uncontrollable, but you can never get them back. Gone are the days when, I blackmail you and you do what I've asked, you pay me the money, and I hand you the photographs and the negatives. And you destroy them in a fire in your fireplace, and it's done, right?
You break up and you have the box of stuff and you burn it
and it's over. Exactly. Gone are those days. So anything that you send out there, it's always out there. And there's more and more you see on the news and on online magazines and that kind of thing. Somebody was texting about how boring their job was in the first month, and they lost the job, right? Like you can't, it isn't just, I'm just no longer talking to you anymore. We are sharing with everybody, right? So, research on the Internet Watch Foundation in 2012 estimated that 88% of self-made explicit images are stolen from their original upload locations and made available on other websites. They can be used for cyberbullying, they can be used for child pornography, they can be used for pornography in general, they can be used for tracking you down, they can be used for blackmailing you to come if you don't. So here's how the guy got the young girl to come to his house, was he told her that if she didn't come to his house, he was going to send the whole file with all the things that she had sent him to her mother. That's how he got her to come to his house, right? Yeah. So here's another thing that you want to talk to your parents about. There's a website called PIPL, www.people.com, PIPL. On that website, if you will pull up and write your name, So I did this once. Being a social worker, we're all sort of helping professional in that business. We're all a little jaded. You don't have kids yet, but you will not let them go anywhere, right? For those of you who don't, right? You're like. So I remember when Zoe was 7 or something, and she had been friends with her best friend Cirrus since they were 2. So we've been friends with this family for 5 years. And she comes home one afternoon and she says, I would really like to spend the night at Cirrus's house. And I said, absolutely not, no way. So she goes and asks her dad, because he always says yes. and he says, well, sure, but I do need to talk to your mother about it. And so he said, so Zoe wants to spend the night with Cirrus, and I think we should set up, because, she's old enough. I'm like, gracious, she's not old enough. She cannot go spend the night with Cirrus. And he goes, why not? And I said, because there's pedophiles out there. And he said, okay, so I was suggesting that she spend the night with Cirrus, not a pedophile. And I said, but do you know about Brett? Do you know Diana? And he goes, these are our friends. We've been friends with them for 5 years. Why do you think? I said, I know, but do you know? Right? So, I've been telling this story for a long time in my trainings to illustrate a variety of different things. And so, I just decided how much I could find out. So I wrote down Brett McCall, right? So I know who he is, and I'm sure he's not a pedophile. And she has spent the night there. But so I just recently did this. I put it in People Search. So in People Search, I just put Brett McCall, Black Mountain, North Carolina. So I want you to do this with somebody you know. You do it for yourself. You can do it for your best friend or, a cousin or whoever. You put that in, and here's what I found out about Brett McCall in 5 minutes. I got his address, his home phone number, and his cell phone number. I got an aerial photo of his house and a photo of his front door. I got the names of all 3 of his brothers, their wives, what cities they live in, and their addresses. I got the name of his parents and the fact that they have, which shocked me, moved in the last 6 months from Texas to Greenville, South Carolina. I got all of the addresses he has ever lived in since he grew up in Dallas all the way until living in Black Mountain, North Carolina. So he's lived in 9 different places. I've gotten the names of 4 of the jobs that he's done. He happens to be a computer guy, and he has sort of several businesses on the side, like a computer tutor, and he does some sound stuff, and he does production things. And so I had 4 of his websites with jobs that he's been doing and people and contacts. I got all of this in less than 5 minutes. Free. People.com. Now, if I was willing to pay $4.99, I could also get a credit history, his criminal record, all kinds of other things. Mm-hmm. Right? You do that with a parent sitting in front of the computer, and you just say, could we do you, or would you rather us do your sister? So it's horrifying for yourself. But you do that once with them, and they understand how scary it is. How easy it was for that man to track down this little league team, know the name of the coach, went up to the coach and says, hi, I'm Jason. I'm a friend of Justin's dad. He and I used to go to college together. He knew what college the kid's father had been to. We graduated the same year. I know, he knew how long they'd been married. That was the other thing, how long he and Cirrus's mom had been together. Right? So they've been together a long time and only married a short amount of time. But it had on there how long they had been living together. Crazy. A lot of information out there. Okay? So it isn't just enough to help them protect against that kind of invasion of information. You've got to give them some skills to be able to say, once this has happened, to you, what are you going to do? If you are bullied, what are you going to do? If you are contacted, what are you going to do? If you forget and send a photograph, what are you going to do? If somebody says, I'm going to blackmail you unless you let this guy come over and do something to you, what are you going to do? If you are taken in a store, what are you going to do? Right? So it is just as important to know how to help them understand and manage the world, the technological world out there, as it is to help them build some skills to keep them safe if and when something does happen. This RAD Kids, Personal Empowerment Safety Education, is a great option for that. This takes that, they talk about all kinds of different safety in this class.